Record. All right, good afternoon. How are you guys?
Good, you?
Good, how are you?
Hi, good, thank you. I'm not seeing my video on the screen, so it looks like what's recording is this whoever is active, but right now I see Rachel on my screen, so we'll figure out what happens. Anyhow, this is group 9, and we're talking about module 7, student success models. And my name is Grace Graber. And we have Tammy Greenlee, Jeremiah, and Rachel Herder.
I'm Rachel Herder.
Okay, so we will talk about AVID, MTSS, and PBIS. And I will start with AVID. So AVID in my school, it's kind of like a subculture almost, or even a culture. You know, like how corporate cultures are. It's, first of all, it's a class. And so there is an AVID class, and most of the kids that go there are actually high-performing students. And AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. So even from the name alone, it really focuses on those who are either college bound or even technical vocational school bound, or even those who are interested in starting a business. When I spoke to the AVID teacher, she said that a majority of the kids are actually considering college. So our school apparently is an AVID demonstration school. And I think, was it yesterday, we supposedly had some students who were observing some AVID classrooms. And then that's why I put here more than a class, because it's like a, like I said, it's like a culture, because our PDs are mostly AVID. And then they send us information on AVID strategies. And one of the most important AVID strategy that we have is right here. It's called WICR: Writing, Inquiry, Collaboration, Organization, and Reading. Last summer, I even attended one of these seminars, and it was actually pretty good. So like I said, it's a class. It's kind of like a culture because everyone's talking about it. It's also like students who are AVID, when they come to your class, they request to be seated in the front, so that they can kind of show you that they're serious about the class, so that they can interact with you. They even show you that they're pretty formal. They would shake your hand and stuff like that. So on the WICR, some of the techniques that we, of course, use here would be Cornell notes, or we also encourage students, if they have their own style of writing and they want us to incorporate, say, quick writes or authentic writing or process writing and things like that. So sometimes we will have a month where they say, make sure you have W. It's W this month, writing. And then inquiry, skilled questioning techniques, or questions that guide research. I have an assignment that that's called WSQ. It's watching a video, writing notes, and writing a summary for S, WS, and then Q is thinking up 2 higher order thinking questions. So that covers W, that covers I, and not reading, but sometimes we have also OERs, or just articles from reputable sources that they have to read, mark and stuff. And then of course, collaboration. Socratic seminars, peer editing groups. I have not tried peer evaluation yet because we were told, privacy-wise, they're not supposed to see other kids' paper as well as grades. But I was gonna try that, but I haven't yet. And organization in our kind of homeroom class, we have a time where they can do homework and they can also arrange their books, arrange their binders, arrange their backpacks and stuff. What is it called in your school again, Rachel? That kind of homeroom class?
It's called OP Advisory. We have an opportunity period or an advisory class is what it's called.
All right. What is it called in your school, Jeremiah?
It's a kind of a seminar, but they only meet once a week.
Oh, you don't have a every day or every other day one?
No.
Okay. How about you, Tammy?
It's just MTSS. It's every day, once a day.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I will show you what. Can you see the Avid website right now? I don't know if it's showing.
You clicked on, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the Avid website. If you go to avid.org, it has some really cool stuff. If you register, I don't know if the district has to be an Avid district. They even have lessons and some guided lessons. I'm not logged on right now, but they have some guided lessons. But the core approach is on closing the gap, opportunity gap. And over here, I guess that's why we're getting training as well. It's teacher effectiveness. And over here, student learning and leadership. And the Wicker, oops. So the Wicker kind of looks like this. Use most of these. I do like to use a lot of essays and short and long essays since my turf is business. What do you guys normally use on the writing?
What do you mean? Oh, like
oh, can you see? Yeah, like do you, other than short essays, long essays?
I literally use all of it. I'm an English teacher, so.
Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. How about in shop, Jeremiah? What kind of stuff?
Mostly just short answers, maybe a little bit of journal here and there.
Oh, nice, journal. Tammy, you're agri, right? Agri and something else?
Yeah, animal science and agri-science and I can't even think of the. I'll use Google Slides with them sometimes, and then Google Docs.
Okay. Okay. So my thing when I was looking at this, I think Avid would be different from MTSS because it looks like MTSS is a framework on more on intervention for those who need it, right? This one, it looks more of the like, okay, you're serious in going to college, enroll in this elective and we'll help you get there. So with that, I'd like to introduce Rachel and Tammy, starting with Rachel for MTSS.
All right. So, so at my school, we use MTSS. It's pretty new at Dodge City High School. But mainly we are an Avid school because we don't have a high percentage that are college bound, and so Avid's just not really something that would work well. MTSS, on the other hand, does work well because it does focus on those interventions, and a high population of our students need the interventions. So basically what MTSS is a multi-tiered system of supports. The tiers of support are based on assessed needs with a standardized needs assessment. The assessment that we use is called FastBridge, and all of our students take a reading and a math FastBridge at the beginning of their freshman, actually at the beginning of every school year. So that assessment tells us where they're at, whether they're college pathway, low risk, high risk, moderate risk, whatever level they are at. And the high risk kids are the ones that get that tier 3 intervention. The some to low risk get the tier 2, and then most of the college bound are good with the tier 1. So how those tiers are separated is tier 1 is whole group intervention, which is basically classroom instruction. And then tier 2 would be small group intervention, which can also take place in the classroom, or it can take place with something like a para or a special education course or a study hall or something like that. The tier 3 intervention is the one-on-one intervention. This can also take place in the classroom, but data shows that it is better to do that one-on-one intervention outside of the classroom environment. And then at my high school, we have a tier 4 intervention that is more focused on the behavior aspect of it. So it's someone who isn't meeting their academic needs because of some behavioral input and some other things. So they get the tier 4 input or intervention, which is one-on-one intervention outside of the school completely. So that's where they go to our alternative ed building. So some of the motivating factors behind MTSS are behavioral and academic adjustments. So making sure that our kids are being met with their needs through academics and also behavior. The other things that MTSS is based on is just like meeting students where they are and understanding that a lot of the problems with academic understanding aren't inherently within the students, that sometimes they're within the environment. And so just making sure that students get the environment, they're being taught in environments that suit them and in ways that suit them. So some of the core components of MTSS are evidence-based strategies and collaboration and assessment systems. So the evidence-based strategies are just multiple proven strategies that have been supported with data that work. And then collaboration, it goes to leadership and making sure that the PD is being taught for teachers to have an idea of how to implement those evidence-based strategies. And then the assessment system, which is what I talked to you guys about, the needs-based assessment. So basically having an assessment system that gives an initial assessment, gives progress reports throughout the school year, and also assesses growth at the end of the year. And then also working in with IEPs and making sure that those checks with those kids who do need those interventions are happening more frequently. And I think that is all I had for my part of the presentation, but I'll go through the graphic that's there for you. So the graphic there is just the conceptual framework for MTSS. It's just the graphic that we've used in our PD stuff. And so basically it represents, the green section represents the tier 1 kids where they're getting the broadness of the instruction. And then that white stripe in the middle is the focus of instruction as you go through the tiers. So, so green, yellow, red identify the needs of the students. And then that white strip through the middle is kind of showing where the focus needs to be for that instruction. So yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, I have a question for you because our school folks, a lot of them are in grade read level. So for something like that, what tier would they be?
They are or are not in great reading levels.
Third grade. High school kids are in third grade reading level.
My guess is that they would be a high risk student. So they would be a tier 3 or maybe a tier 2, depending on their behavior. So like the MTSS stuff, at least at my high school, takes into consideration the academic performance along with the behavioral adaptability. And so like if it's a well-behaved student who is just struggling academically, they might be in just a tier 2. If they have academic and behavioral issues, they'd probably be in a tier 3 or a tier 4.
Have you had students on tier 4?
Yeah, yep. I actually, one of my kids from my homeroom advisory class just got moved to the alt ed because he was having some issues and needed to be on that tier 4 intervention.
Okay, maybe we have MTSS because we have, or we just call it tiers because we have those tiers too, but I don't think we are focusing on it enough. So it looks like
Yeah.
your school is really focused on implementing it, which we probably need to. Okay, thank you, Rachel. I'm gonna try to find.
I
Oh,
want to
so,
let you know we are at 15 minutes, just saying.
oh, okay, thanks. I'm gonna find Tammy's. Oh, of course, I lost it already. Tammy, where is it?
Kansas at the,
Oh, there we go. Can you see it?
yes, I can see it.
Okay.
So I mean, it's very similar to what Rachel was talking about. It's just a multi-tiered system of supports and alignments. The kids are assessed several times a year, and we'll have 4 different groups of kids. At least the tier 1 teachers will have 4 different groups of kids during the course of a year. So it kind of changes it up for them a little bit. We only have 3 tiers too. So tier 1 would be the kids that are on their grade level for reading or math. And like that, I have that in 7th grade, and we're reading a book and we're discussing the book, and it's 7 Habits of an Effective Teenager. So we read it out loud, popcorn style, and then we discuss it, and then I'll have them do different things. Like I had them write a letter to somebody that they thought might need cheering up, just stuff like that in the tier 1. Tier 2 is going to be more focused on certain areas that they have troubles with, and then tier 3 will be even more focused. So tier 2 might be only 2 or 3 kids in a classroom with a teacher, and tier 3 would probably be just 1 or 2 at the most, so that they can have really focused instruction on the areas that they're struggling with.
Okay. Do I need to click another one?
Yeah. And then I just put down the values: reflection, growth, integrity, clarity, adaptability, and zeal are the values of the Kansas MTSS.
Okay. Do you teach
Our whole
tiers?
school, like junior high and high school, everybody has an MTSS class.
All right.
4 days a week. So I mean, you're either in tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, but it's done. They've seen huge increases in kids improving in their reading. They're trying to get the math going right now too, but so it's been really good for junior high and high school.
One more click.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Oh, that's it.
Okay.
Okay. You know what? While I'm switching here, I actually teach just a little bit of 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens too, in my career and life planning class.
It's kind of a cool book.
Yeah, we don't have the book though, but are you using the free PDF?
No, I have like 15 books, and so everybody gets
nice.
a book, and yeah, and they only get them in class, but I just try to have them do something to make them think about what we're going through, because they're reading,
really good.
but it's also some really good ideas for their lives.
Yeah, I read is it 89 or 90, his dad, Stephen Covey, when he came out with it. Thank you, Tammy. And Rachel, thank you for the time check. So last but not least, of course, will tell us more about PBIS would be Jeremiah.
Hi, I'll do my best. I'm kind of fighting a cold, and I'm not sure if I'm in the front end or the back end of it. So, if I get kind of throaty, I'll just kind of cut out early.
Good thing this is virtual.
No kidding. Kind of when I looked into what we do at our school, the positive behavior is something that is always repeated over and over, but I don't think we've ever actually called it by PBIS. And when I looked at the video in our class module and stuff like that, it's not quite exactly what we do either. So I'm kind of hoping I'm still on the same page, but a lot of the verbiage went back and forth between what we do is safe and civil schools. It's a Randy Spriggs, and there's a lot of blend. I don't think we truly do any one thing. We do anything that works, trying to keep good positive behaviors. When you look at the slide, we follow, and it's kind of funny, there's so many acronyms in this, but and the STOIC, that's kind of what the teacher does. So during a class, here's teacher structures the lessons, they teach it, they observe, interact, and make any corrections. So they're watching, see if students are struggling, see if they're staying on task, get in there and interact and help if they need it, and then make corrections for any behavior that may be off task. That follows also within the CHAMPS, but we use more of an achieve when we talk about what does the student do. So the A is for activity, and in this example, we do a transition from the classroom to the shop. So activity is listed transitioning from classroom to shop. And then I'll tell them what conversations are okay, at what level, what is okay to do and what's not, as far as talking to your friends, things like that. If you need help in your transition, did you forget your locker combination, anything like that. Integrity would be staying on the task, like what is our mission here? Are we going outside, or going to the vending machine, or what is it that you should be doing, and making sure you're on that. Electronics would be multiple aspects. For this particular activity, it would be no electronics whatsoever. Just get where you need to get to. However, I do tell students, hey, if you need to text your mom, if you need to do something between here and there, then that's okay. But don't be going full on Snapbook and all that good stuff. Just what is our task, and stay with that. Tell you the value of it, and for that, our class is pretty limited. So moving from one area to another time, that's non-instructional time. And I tell them how important it is to get on task, and we lose time moving from place to place. And then their effort really boils into that as well. The quicker they get there, the more time they get to work on their assignments and those kind of things. So that was where, academic wise, trying to keep students on task and that. And then we do a lot of, it's 3-to-1 is what our school uses, but I think the actual one, they call for 4-to-1, and 3-to-1 is a minimum. Means that you want to find the student doing the right thing 3 times, at least for every one time you've caught them doing something wrong. And even if you have to go out of your way to catch them doing something right, and just say, hey, thank you for staying in your chair, or thank you for being on time, that puts a lot of merit in the bank, so that when you do have to do a corrective behavior, there's something that you're not always just picking on them. They know that you see them when they're good too. And again, a lot of students act up because they're looking for attention. Well, we want to give them attention, but give it to them when they're doing the right thing, so that there's less instances of them needing to act up to get that same amount of attention. And it seems to work really, really good. A lot of students don't really know what's going on, which is sometimes funny. That we say, oh, there's my 3. Now I can go, chew some bud or do something like that, which, in shop classes, it kind of happens fairly often. So you're always trying to put money in the bank for that time they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, just from, a lack of maturity or experience and things like that. And I've seen it be very, very effective. And students just, you really just wonder where their head was, and be able to actually just have a conversation instead of just yelling at them, or going to the basement, as they refer to it. So that's where we're at. Like I said, I don't think it's quite a PBIS, but it definitely follows a lot of that same stringent lines and stuff like that.
Oh, good stuff. I'm glad you reminded us about positive behavior, or 3-to-1 positive behavior, because I was going to ask you, what if you have a student who actually, one of those who does not want to do their work, or does not want to do his work, and then also disruptive. How do you use the 3-to-1?
I definitely say I'm pretty unique, and I really don't have those students.
Oh,
And I don't
good.
say that I don't say that it's not possible. I think because I create such an environment of procedures and things like that, the students know what the expectations are, and I'm an elective, so and it's welding. Like students don't just take my class to get out of something. They know that they're going to have to work, and I tell them the first day, it's like I'm going to burn you. I mean, not on purpose, but you are going to get burned in my class if you don't listen, you do things like that. So it's kind of different. I just create a good environment from day one, and it's not to say students don't have bad days, but I don't have issues with outburst or unruly. Some days they just don't want to weld, and I get it. There's some days that I don't want to come to work, but we work through it and have that relationship. Say, hey, you know what? You might not be able to give me 100% of what you did yesterday, but you can give me 100% of what you're able to today. And I do. I really do. I think it's very, very positive. I've had students who absolutely hate my class because it's so frustrating, but come every single day. I just had a student our last trimester, we're on a trimester. I found out after the fact, she used to go to the booth and cry because it was so hard for her. And then she went to talk to the counselors, and the counselors came back, said she only showed up because she knew that she was trying to do it for me. And I mean, it definitely broke my heart knowing that she was struggling so much, and she always put a smile on her face when I come to her booth and things like that. And I made her come talk to me before I let her drop out of the class, and I just told her how much I appreciated her doing that. And
Yeah, that's
I
sweet.
didn't ask for it, you know. So that's how well that works. A student, absolutely, most students would have skipped class. She came to class every day, even though she knew that it was just going to frustrate her to the point of
You know,
crying.
you know what? We have some of our actually kids who are not working, not submitting their work. That's the sad part. That's the thing that breaks our heart, though. They keep coming for the socialization. They keep coming, but they don't do the work. That's the kind of other type of heartbreak that we have here, though. Anyhow, Tammy, you have anything else?
Nope, I don't think so.
Any question for Jeremiah?
I don't think so. That's really sad.
It was. And I hated it for her. I really did. And there's so much stress in her life. Her parents were coming down pretty hard on her. Any grade that was less than a C, was going to be some type of punishment at home. And in my class, if you're not producing quality work, it's not quality work. I can't fake it. It's a pass or fail in the welding world.
Don't
But
say
she
that.
kept trying.
Don't
Well,
say
it
that
is.
because I get on my daughter's case if she gets a B. So now it's making me feel guilty.
Well, for her, it was really, really hard. And not understanding, I just don't know that parents understood. The only way she was going to learn to weld is by trying. But until she meets the standard, it's not a standard. It'd be like playing an instrument and you're being asked to play a C and you keep playing a B over and over again.
Yeah, that makes
You're not
sense.
playing a C. Until you play a C, we can't give you credit for playing a C. So my class is based off of trying, and you become successful by trying. But I did. It really, really bothered me a lot. I created such an environment that it felt good knowing that I created an environment that student was willing to do that work for me. But at the same time, like, I wish you would been in a different environment where you could have came and talked to me and told me, hey, I'm really, really struggling and I'm showing up for you, but I can't manage this
Yeah.
all.
That speaks very well of you and of the student, of course. You know what? I was just realizing because what other thing that's good about it is I guess you have kinesthetic learning because, they're sitting in our classrooms all day.
Mhm.
And, when we get them in the afternoon, something
Yeah,
breaks loose or they're just too tired.
it's time for naps.
Okay, I'm good. If you guys are good,
I think so.
Where are we on the time? I think we're super good on the time.
Yeah, our timekeeper left.
Okay, well, this is our last Zoom, guys. I've enjoyed having
Yes.
you and interacting with you.
Same as you.
Yes.
Okay, so I am gonna stop recording now, and I'll see you guys in the next classes.
All right.
Indeed. See you
Bye.
later.
All the best.
Have a good night.
Y'all too.
Thank you.
Bye bye.